So one of the next things that I wanted to talk about is, so on the business, on the Roadmap MBA, we are a real world business course which is trying to make business education accessible to 5 billion people worldwide. And we're really trying to revolutionize business education and training to really help support the mass market of people that if you have the academic grades, the cash and the time to go to Harvard Business School and do a proper MBA, it's amazing. Do it, have a fantastic time, and it will do massive things for your career. The truth is, for 98% of the world's population, that just isn't possible. But then also, it's my belief that the current mechanisms and the way that the current providers provide their service, it's great for maybe the top 5% of people, but actually there's a huge slug of regular people that don't have a product which I believe fits their needs. So with the creation of the Roadmap MBA, what we wanted to do was basically create a platform to help communities build a better life for themselves and actually just kind of, live and thrive and celebrate together, but to give you the skills that you need to make your side hustle or your business a success in a way that I don't think, is easy to get from anywhere else. So with the Roadmap, it's a business which I've been running now for realistically 2 and a bit years. There was a year before that where I was just self-employed as a management consultant as myself. And in theory, it is still myself, but we've made kind of progress. And actually, we've been through a few different phases of the business, which I just wanted to talk about, because actually we're starting to move into phase 3 and phase 4, which is the next things that we're going to talk about. And I'm passionate about this stuff, so I love to talk about it. But if you ever catch any of this and you think that you can help with any of these, tell me, reach out, and I'm always happy to chat. So phase 1 for the business was basically, this is when I originally had the idea. So for a long time during my career, I was working quite successfully in different organizations to work on business strategy, work on sales, do marketing, and actually figure out how, for these companies that I was working in, how do we help them grow and be successful? Because that's what my job was. That's what I was getting paid to do. And one of the things that I did, I don't even know how and when I started, but whenever I got some really good advice, I basically started to write it down. So for a very long time, it was just a really crude Microsoft Word document, which I've probably still got somewhere. And what I started to do was just build up over time this, every book that I read, if I felt that I could distill down the key points, because you often can, from a 400-page book into 2 pages, I did it. And what I wanted to do was build up a reference of all of the different phases of starting and growing a business or to help your career, but actually just bring it all together. And the first thing was to both have the idea, but actually produce the minimum viable product. That's what you call the MVP. And actually what you wanted to do and what all of the science and stuff says to do is that when you first have the idea for a business, it's something called a lean startup, but you want to iterate. So what you want to do is create the thing and then show it to people and get feedback. And actually people might say, look, it's absolute crap. You're wasting your time, maybe do something else. But the idea is you get out to market quickly with the idea, and then actually how do you learn and iterate? So I did that for 7-8 months. So a previous version of the book, because again, my MVP was a physical book. Although I always had ambitions to do the whole startup app technical journey, which we are doing, you have to start somewhere. And actually, I still believe as part of that process that people like to have a physical thing as a reference material to go through and read. So I'm really glad that I kind of did that. Phase 2 was our new web kind of portal, but also the updated brand, all the graphics and stuff that you can see me. It's actually the whole studio, the live streaming, the guest presenters, and actually just how we took the original idea and then start to execute it in bigger, better ways with the content was largely the same. I did rewrite some stuff and then actually kind of make it better. But the completely new brand, this room, the studio, and actually just start to kind of learn and iterate. A really big part of that is the web portal and the new website, which only launched 2 months ago. And I'm really proud of it. I'm, genuinely, I think it's excellent. And what the guys have done at Bloom to really kind of do that has been really good. And then the next phase of this, which still falls into phase 2, is the app. So this is where 86% of the world's population have a smartphone. That actually, when I've been sending the physical books to 36 countries, from Afghanistan to Kenya to Nigeria to America to China to Ukraine, it's very expensive, and it costs, takes a lot of time to arrive, and it's not a great way to scale because, again, we do most of this for free. That it was always a phased approach, and that's kind of what we've done so far. The app isn't live yet. Hopefully, realistically, February is when it might be properly up and live. So you'll see me kind of shout about that. But the idea is, again, it's how can I learn and iterate? That I had the original idea and design. Then it's how we've started to evolve to actually get the next round of development and try and really kind of figure this out. But the next big one, which is for 2023, is that the holy grail for education is customized education. So there's lots of studies over the years about how most business curriculums or university curriculums or school curriculums, they have a curriculum, so a set suite of information, they just throw it at everyone. So if you walk through the door of a business school or a high school or a university, they've got a course and you sit and you listen to it. And it's a generic course that they believe will pass on the information that they think is relevant for doing the course. And there's a big element of you as the person then has to absorb the information, figure out how do I use it to then implement it in your career. So in business education and training, again, all of this stuff is generic. So they have a course, and arguably it's where we are right now. And at when people join the course, you go through the modules, and with this we actually encourage people to jump straight to the bits that you want. But the holy grail for business education, but education in general, is actually making it customizable. So the big thing, especially in business, is that a lot of small business owners or micro business owners or freelancers don't make any money, or they struggle to make money, with the point being that what we want to do with the platform is actually help people, so that based on where you're at as your business, the advice and the guidance and what we advise you to do first is different when you go through the questions about, you might run your own business, but then do you make money or are you losing money? Because if you're making money, the way that we would look to grow your business is different, and it's a longer time scale where we would look at the business strategy and we look at your marketing and do some customer research before we then look to do more sales to accelerate that, knowing that we know we're doing the right thing. Is where the same business owner, if they're currently losing money, you would not waste 6 to 8 months doing the strategy stuff at the first. You would just focus straight on sales and particular areas of sales to really kind of drive that behavior. But the idea is that we want to customize the tailored approach to education, because I think it's the right thing to do, and I've never seen anyone do it before. So it's one of the USPs that we want to develop. So that'll hopefully be coming mid 2023, which is one of my big drivers and goals. And then based on that, after we've gone out to then speak to lots of people and get feedback and see what works and what doesn't work, phase 4 is actually then to start to look at languages and different presenters from around the world. That when we're confident that we have something called product market fit, so we know that we're making something that people actually want and need and desire, and we're confident we're doing the right thing in the right way, then it's the next phase to, I only speak English, but to have presenters that speak in French and Spanish and Hindi and Mandarin, and actually really start to scale that. It's very expensive to have things translated into 100 different languages, but you only want to do that when you're absolutely 100% certain what you're doing, that it's the right thing to do. And this is basically our roadmap for 2023, 2024, that we've this was last year about the idea and the first set of execution. This year was it was the new brand, the studio, when we got Ashley King and Ifeanyi to start to present their own shows. I've really loved that because it's great to just give a platform to some really kind of cool, good people. The app is hopefully going to come January, February-ish, and we've got big desires for that. But again, it's largely the same as what we have, which I still think is excellent. But the key thing will be the customized education. It's how can we really tailor support to different people. If you're in your career or if you're a student, the advice that we will give you is different based on where you're at and what you do. And this is where we want to get to. That is the holy grail for education and training, that actually it's something we're working on, and hopefully you'll see that come through. And then it's only after that point when we start to really then execute on the strategy for different regions. So for the Far East, for Africa, for South America, for Europe, and even different places within those, you would actually come up with a different strategy, because it should be completely different how you look to break each target market. The mistake would be is try and run and do all that stuff before we haven't yet, and I haven't yet cracked that I don't make the perfect product yet, and I know that, so I need to really kind of get feedback. But it'll just take time. And it was just something that I wanted to talk about, and it's almost a bit of prosperity, because hopefully in 5 years' time I can look back on this video on YouTube and think, oh yeah, I remember that, and this is what happened, or we scrapped it, or whichever. I actually just don't know. But I just wanted to kind of talk about the journey.